call this meeting to order of June 12th. If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to need to excuse Aaron Marquardt for the evening. And before we start, I would love you notice some of the greeters that we had out front greeting you as you came in. We pick different greeters each month to come in and greet you. And we also love to hear from them. So they get put on the spot, but not only to be greeters, but up front. They're trying to make their way up right now. So I just want to acknowledge our amazing greeters from Sumner High School.
These guys. Look at the board.
Oh,
You know, as with most, yeah, it's weird. Most people are out there and you're looking at us, but you know, we know you're super busy. But we would love to hear from you. You know, tell us your name and what's going on with you and what do you like about your school?
My name is Nate Carnahan, and I'm the vice president of Sumner High School, and I love the football team.
Nice.
my name is Carissa Carl. I'm the ASB secretary, and I like the soccer team.
My name is Vivian. I'm the Director of Public Relations for ASB, and I'm on varsity chair.
My name is Austin Friends, and I think there's a lot to like about Sumner. I mean, I love the sports, I love the academics, I love just everything that they have to offer, like our full IB diploma program and just all those sorts of different kinds of things. They just really help make a positive experience.
Well, thank you. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for all the great work you're doing. Obviously, you give back to your school and the community, so thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Thank you. All right. I don't know how Erin does this. She makes this look way too easy. It's more stressful than I thought. But we have some exciting events tonight. Our first one is going to be the swearing in of our latest District 1 board members. So let's get to that.
So I'd like to introduce the Honorable Judge Burton of Pierce County Superior Court and proud Sumner High School alum and proud parent of 2 Sumner-Bonney Lake students, 1 Panther and 1 Spartan. Thank you so much for joining us for the swearing in.
All right. All right. Are we on the camera where we need to be? All right. I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Johannika Smith. I, Johannika Smith. Do hereby solemnly swear or affirm. Do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. Of the United States. And the Constitution. And the Constitution of the State of Washington. Of the State of Washington. And will faithfully discharge. And will faithfully discharge the duties of director. The duties of director of Sumner-Bonney Lake School District number 320. Of Sumner-Bonney Lake School District 320. Pierce County. Pierce County. State of Washington. State of Washington. To the best of my ability. To the best of my ability. Congratulations.
I know. Oh, you're fine. All right. Well, welcome aboard. All right. Well, our first order of business is we need to approve the, do we have a motion to approve the June 12th board agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, they wait for it to go green. Nope. Yeah. Let go of it. Now press it again and let go. There you go.
Second.
Awesome. All right. First official. How's that feel? You get it out of the way. I love it. All right.
Go up from here.
Yes. Yes. There's nobody watching. It's okay. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Our second item for action. Do I have an motion to approve the June 12th consent agenda items as listed?
So moved.
You do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. All those opposed? All right. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, this is the good part of the night. Now that we got that out of the way, it's our recognition of student and staff. So, Dr. Dent.
So good evening. Tonight is a great night of celebration. We want to kick it off by recognizing some of our new staff because as you can see, this is a pretty cool place to work. The first person though I want to recognize before we get started is Deb Norris, who is standing over there, longtime board member. And this is how we do it in this district. JB just took over Deb's old position. Deb's here to lend her full support. And that's what true leadership is. When someone leaves, the other person is right there to provide whatever support they can. And Deb, you being here doesn't surprise me one bit. So it's just nice to see you. And one person that's joining our team is standing immediately to my right. Her name is Abigail Westbrook, and she is our new attorney, our general counsel. Because if you remember, Marianne Leach is newly retired and hopefully loving life right now because every day for her is Saturday. She's probably raising her honeybees and going on hikes and doing all sorts of fun things. But Abigail is joining us. She's coming from WASDA, where she was really in charge of a lot of policy and legal work. But I'm telling you, she is brilliant and just beams with this enthusiasm. And you can see our Sumner heart already in her daily interactions. So she's going to be fantastic to work with. And I think you got like a week under you, right? So yeah, it's going to be a wild ride, but we're so excited that you're here. And so everyone, let's welcome Abigail. I'd like to introduce Beth Dykman, our Executive Director of Elementary, who is not new, but she's going to introduce one of our new assistant principals.
Thank you, Dr. Dent and board members. Very happy to be here tonight to introduce our, well, almost newest. You'll get the next one after this, but one of our new assistant principals. This is Jill Dornan. She will be the assistant principal at Bonnie Lake Elementary. And Jill comes to us from Fife most recently, where she was an assistant principal for 5 years and a classroom teacher for 9. Prior to Fife, she began her career as a kindergarten teacher in Renton School District. A little bit about Jill. Jill, I've gotten to know her just a little bit over the last couple of years. And Jill is just a compassionate leader. She brings a focus on building relationships, effective communication, and collaboration with families, along with supporting practices to help students reach their full potential. In her spare time, Jill enjoys reading, working out, organizing, super excited about that. And she lives in the area with her husband, Matt, and her son, Hudson, and her lab, Molly. So we are thrilled to have her here. Jill?
Thank you for that. I had the opportunity to visit Bonnie Lake Elementary this week. It happened to be their field day, their grad walk, which was amazing to witness, as well as their last character trait assembly. And I didn't want to leave. I'm so excited to become a part of the Sumner-Bonney Lake family, and I'm honored to be here and thank everyone for this opportunity.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill. And next, we've got our newest, who I believe you just were introduced to, our newest principal, Corey Gould, who will be the principal at Emerald Hills Elementary, and he would like to introduce somebody.
All right, already I get to introduce, so that's very exciting. I'd like to introduce a colleague of ours that you probably know, joining our administrative team at Emerald Hills Elementary School. So I'm pleased to announce and introduce Brittany Schneider, who's coming to us from Donald Eisman Elementary School. She did bring a fan club. So yeah, there it is. She said in lieu of a speech, she would just let her people talk for her. Let's see here. She's passionate about ensuring every student receives the support they need to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Some of her proudest achievements include implementing systems and initiating instructional strategies that significantly improve student outcomes. She's a Wildcat from Central Washington University, and she also has her K-12 Principal Credential Elementary Teaching Certificate, Washington Literacy K-12 Endorsement, and Accessibility Studies Certificate. So a very certificated lady. In her spare time, she likes reading, staying active, and spending time with her husband, Zach, and lively 2-year-old son, Lennox. Please join me in welcoming Brittany as a Laker and to our leadership team.
I am honored to have the opportunity and thank you.
Okay, let's keep this going. At this time, I'd like to welcome up to the mic Jeff Baines, principal of Sumner High School. And does anybody see Tony Clark out there? Yeah, you might have to get him out of the hallway. Because at this time, we would like to introduce 5 incredibly special students who won a very prestigious award in our region, sponsored by the Washington Association of School Administrators. It's this WASA Student Leadership Award. Here's how you earn this award. The WASA Student Leadership Award recognizes innovative programs for the improvement of student achievement. This award is presented to select WASA members who have provided leadership for the implementation of anything that has resulted in service to students, social justice, inequity, inclusivity. And we really look for students who embody and embrace this belief. Well, when I asked Mr. Clark and Mr. Baines, who would you nominate for this award? Instantly, they email me back the names of 5 students. And I'd like for them to recognize those 5 students and then have them come up here where we can give them their certificate and then recognize them for this significant accomplishment.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dan, appreciate it. We had one that couldn't make it tonight. Sanea Ferguson was one of the students that was nominated, and she did a tremendous job for us this year, leading our BSU and also leading our entire staff in some community circles, which was a big reach for her. And it was also really heartwarming to see our staff partake in that. So Sanea, I'll make sure she gets this. Brandon, come on up, Brandon. Brandon Niels is next. Just real quick, Brandon also worked a lot with BSU, LSU, and I think when you stood up today, you was like 4 clubs or something like that. So Brandon is fairly new to Sumner High School and very active. When you think of leadership at Sumner, he's one of the first that I thought of. And when Dr. Dent sent the email, that it was an easy pick for Brandon. So appreciate you and thank you. Thank you. Brandon, stay up here. All right. These next 2 and being gone for 4 years and coming back, I quickly realized the impact of these 2 students that we have here. The first one, I see him in the back. So if Cooper Miller would come on up. You don't get to leave yet. There you go. So you can stand up there because I'll talk about you. You can face him. One of the things that we really hang our hat on at Sumner High School is servant leadership. And if you really want to look at what a servant leader does, looks like, acts like, talks like, I think Cooper's picture will come up in the dictionary. Cooper is just a huge impact on our school. He's captain of 2 sports, but more than anything else, I think everyone knows Cooper at Sumner High School. And I had a teacher come into my office one morning almost in tears. And when you're a principal and you have a teacher come in tears in the morning, that's usually a long day. But this was a good message. And she shared with me that they were at her son's 4th grade basketball practice. And here comes Cooper in just to watch practice, hang out with the 4th graders and talk basketball. And it just made a huge impact. So thanks, Coop. And the next young lady, Eiley Lewis, would you come on up, please? When I met with Mr. Slater and Mr. Wenzel, our ASB advisors, I've never seen 2 men cry when they told me Eiley was a senior and that they were going to lose her this year. But again, Eiley's everywhere. whether she's participating in something or she's supporting something or she's setting up for an assembly. Again, just a true definition of a servant leader, puts the heart and the needs of others before hers. And just appreciate you for all you've done. Appreciate the three of you for all you've done. And you guys are true representatives of what the Sumner's all about in the Spartan way. So thank you.
Thanks for having us here. I would like to introduce Bennett Guyasa. So a little bit about Bennett. This is my second year as a principal at Bonnie Lake High School, but before one of the first things I was tasked with was finding a student to come sit on the U.S. History Curriculum Adoption Committee. And I didn't know many of the students at the time, so I put out a wide net. And I had Bennett was one of the students that was like universally nominated from almost all of our teachers as a perfect student for this. And then I got to know Bennett. One of the things about Bennett is she is that perfect combination of IQ and EQ. So rare that you have those two together. And what I mean by that is she's a servant leader at heart. She sees problems and she solves them. So a little bit about Bennett. She started multiple clubs in our school. She started our BIPOC club. She started our math club with math tutoring because she saw a need and she went to serve the people in our community. With that, there's a lot more that she's done. She's a AP scholar. She's an AP diploma, capstone diploma winner. She has done an internship through the University of Washington already. She has worked and started a nonprofit organization to work with people to learn coding. She's been on our world-ranked robotics team as one of our lead programmers. She is, the list goes on and on. She's I was going to say that for last. And she'll be in Palo Alto going to Stanford. So, I mean, next year. So, we are extremely proud, not only of her accomplishments, but of the impact she's made in our school and the lasting impact I know she's going to continue to have. So, Bennett, I'm proud of you.
I'll show your certificate. It just looks nice.
Just a little.
Well, there's more celebrations. One thing that sets our district apart from other districts is the incredible CTE program that we have in this district. And we have Christy Martinez along with Aaron Toman to talk to you about our COPE scholars. So come on up.
That's all good. So I'm privileged to be here tonight to talk about our scholars from both Sumner and Bonnie Lake High School. And we have quite a few students that are representing Bonnie Lake High School tonight. Unfortunately, our Sumner students could not be here tonight. These are students who are in the process of participating in the multi-care COPE scholarship. Yes, wave at your parents, y'all. They're proud of you. So these are students who have met all of the requirements to participate in an internship, and many of them are just now getting started with hours because their application process is a lot. So I'm going to try to do 17 pages of instructions justice right now, so you know what it takes just to get to do hours in the hospital, so that when I tell you how many hours they're already done with, it'll mean a lot more. So to be admitted to the program, these students must first complete an application that includes 4 essays. They have to complete an interview with COPE program managers, multi-care regional managers, and the Health Scholar leadership team. Once they pass that, which not all of them do, they become eligible to do the work to pass the next level to then get to do hours. That next level of becoming eligible includes completing all clearance requirements, including a background check, completing their basic life support CPR and AED card. What else? Passing all personal health and immunization screenings, like health fitness tests they have to do to be able to work in the hospital. They have to complete 30 hours of coursework covering topics like team communication, hospital codes, regulatory standards, and they must pass a final exam that is both knowledge and skill-based. They then complete training shifts at the hospital. All of these requirements, once they've been met, they can start to then complete their hours. They work in 4-hour shifts. And depending on the level of the program they've chosen to participate in, they are doing a either 100 or 200-hour internship from that point forward, not counting all the other hours to get there, okay? They are part of an integrated patient care team in either 3 or 6 different units at one of the following hospitals: Tacoma General, Allen Moore, or Good Samaritan. And they are working on units like palliative medicine, progressive care, med-surg units, oncology, the emergency department, and more. Some of their duties range from sitting with patients, providing basic care, talking with patients, to taking vital signs, and even tougher things. I want you to sit with this for that moment. These high school students in the afternoons, evenings, on weekends, are now taking 4-hour shifts to care for patients and their family members when they are at their most vulnerable, from welcoming new life into the world to honoring the end of a life and everything else in between. And then they come back to high school, normal high school, everybody else kind of clueless about what's going on, and go to class and do their work and take their tests and all the things. Not knowing, most of us, the world around them, what's going on in the shift before, which if you know anybody who works in healthcare, that's a big deal. So I want to make sure that each of them, we can tell what their hours are. So when I say your name, wave, say hi to the audience. Olivia has done 10 hours so far. Skylar's at 150. She thinks maybe more. Bryant's planning on working all summer like Olivia. He's at 10 hours as well. Emily has done 30 hours worth of shifts. Diego's at 25. Jordan is at 40. And I told Laura I was going to make a bigger deal of this because most of the kids up here are juniors and seniors, except for Laura. Laura's our 9th grader who has done 60 hours at the hospital. I can tell you, if you get any one of them in a healthcare setting, you are in very good hands. Well, they're taking pictures. I also want to give much thanks to my boss, Aaron Tommen. I have 2. I have Tony and Aaron. Aaron at the CTE level heard about this program and said, cost is not a thing, we'll cover it. So thank you, Aaron.
Okay, before I introduce our last group, I just want to recap real quick. We started out tonight by introducing our fantastic school board and our newest member, JB Smith. So thank you again for joining the school board. School board of the year right here, ladies and gentlemen, Washington State. So fantastic school board. Then we introduced our amazing administrators that have joined this team. Can we see those signs just one more time? There we go. You made them. Let's use them. Then we moved into student leaders who received a very prestigious award from the WASA organization and a real testament to what's happening in our high schools. Then we moved to the COPE Scholars because this district is also about workforce development. Now, to round that out, some school districts wait a lifetime to have even one state champion. Well, in this district, they're all over the place, both high schools. We have more state champions than we can keep track of, which is fantastic. And it's a great thing to have. So I'm going to introduce Chris Paulson. Chris, thanks for giving me a little wave there because there's just a sea of people. So come on up. And is Aaron here or is... Okay. Thank you. I don't know how you keep it straight.
Thank you, Dr. Dent. Good evening, Board of Directors and Superintendent Dent. As you know, it's the season of celebrations, graduations, assemblies, many other events highlighting the achievements of our students. We'll be continuing that theme this evening by honoring the Sumner and Bonney Lake teams that won WIAA state championships, student athletes that won individual titles, and a couple of teams that won academic state championships during the just completed 2023-2024 WI sports season. I'd like to note that although we're focusing on the state champions this evening, many other student athletes and programs had amazing seasons led by our outstanding coaches. A summary of these achievements is shared in the newsletter each season. Not many student athletes can say that they've won a state championship. So tonight's state champion honorees, it's important to remember that they didn't win state titles from the work they put in the season alone. They've spent many years putting in countless hours of work and making sacrifices. This hard work, sacrifice, along with guidance from their coaches and support from their families, friends, and community, help them to achieve the ultimate goal of any high school athlete, a state championship. We will recognize them in order of the season in which they participated. So we'll start with this winter. First up is the Sumner High School boys swim and dive team, who won the WIA academic 4A state championship with a combined team GPA of 3.89. One of our team members up here also won an individual title. Tanner Wilson won the individual state championship in the 100-yard breaststroke. He also finished second in the 100 butterfly, broke 26 school records, had 2 All-American times, and was named the WIAA State Swimmer of the Year. I'll let Coach Brian and Coach Jerry come up and say a few words about the team if they didn't know they were going to do that.
Forgot to mention that part, Chris. We are just super thankful. We've got a program that for a number of years was kind of in question whether or not we would have a pool. The great work of the school board and everybody else involved made sure that we've still got a pool to work with. And from that, we've built some amazing programs. We had the girls team had 2 participants at state this year, including one freshman walk-on that had never been on a diving board before and competed with a 16th place finish at state. And another diver that we had with a 13th place finish. Our boys, with our small team that we have, went to state. We had 4 competitors that actually swam at state. Between relays and individual events, and we placed 11th overall in the 4A program. So just fantastic season all the way around. Like Chris mentioned, we broke and rebroke 26 records. To put that in perspective, there's only 11 events in the swimming, and 2 of those are diving. We didn't have a boys diver this year. I think the only reason we didn't break the other 2 events is they didn't realize that they were that close to it and didn't attempt it. But just a huge congratulations to the team, to the community for supporting the team, and we are excited to try and repeat it again. Thank you.
All right, next up is the Sumner High School gymnastics team. They qualified for state for the 3rd season in a row and won the school's first ever state title. Team members were Taylor Balint, Ava Davidson, Kylie Kovish, Kaylee Loomis, Lainey Orm, Madison Sorenberg, Abby Steiner, Gabby Steiner, Hannah Steiner, Casey Sterenberg, Brooke and Thornton, Meg Tolick, Gianna Wagner, and Mia Wilson. Gabby Steiner won an individual state championship on the bars. And behind me, our head coach, Catherine Elliott, and assistant coach, Mia Scardina, who, by the way, was voted as state assistant coach of the year by her peers, to say a few words.
Hi, So this was my 10th season as the head coach for the Sumner Gymnastics team, and it was by far our most successful. But since taking over the program a decade ago, it's always been our program philosophy that we are a sisterhood where we compete for each other. So that philosophy has paid off because obviously tonight we are speaking to you and celebrating Sumner High School's first gymnastics state championship in school history. So it's very exciting. Yes. There are a few accomplishments we want to brag about because, like Chris or someone before said, this wasn't just a moment in time. This was it's been 10 years of work. So since COVID, we have had an undefeated regular season. So we have won every regular season meet. We have been the top 4 team in the state for the last 3 years. In 2022 and 2023, we got 3rd place in state. We are back-to-back league champions. We were the 2024 district champions. 40% of the event finalists at the state meet were Sumner gymnasts, which is a pretty big feat. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 top 8 placers, including one that had never done gymnastics before. She's a cheerleader. The 2024 state championship, we are the first new team since 2013. Woodinville or Camas has won since 2013. So we're the new kids on the block, which is super exciting. And like Chris said, Mia Scardina is for the 2nd year in a row, the state assistant coach of the year. We were also selected we were the WIAA team of the month for December, which is out of every winter sport, every 4A school that we won that accomplishment. And then 3 of our seniors were selected to represent the state of Washington at the senior national competition. And Maddie Sorensen actually placed 15th in the entire nation. So it's a pretty amazing accomplishment. So 10 years ago, I didn't think all this success was possible, but we have learned that culture is the main driver of success, not the win-loss column. And that's not just what we stand for, but what Sumner High School stands for and what the Sumner community stands for. So as a small sport, we did not do this alone. So I want to thank my assistant coaches. We work really closely with the Bonney Lake High School gymnastics team. So I thank them. There's a lot of tenured coaches at Sumner High School that I've learned from. Mark Evers from the Sumner News Index continues to promote our program. The Sumner School Board for continuing to make this sport that is not profitable, quite honestly, and making it continue to be a thing. And the Sumner community for cheering us on along the way. So gymnastics is a dying sport in much of the state, but here it is thriving. So we thank you.
Okay, next up is the Bonney Lake Pantherette dance team. The Pantherettes took home first place for their kick routine. The team is coached by Lisa O'Brien. I will turn it over to Coach O'Brien to say a few words.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you for having us. I wrote my notes on a thank you card so I'd remember to thank you for inviting us. We're very excited. And to thank Mr. Clark. He is the only admin at Bonney Lake in the last 11 years that I've coached that has attended 2 of our competitions this year. And we are just so grateful every time they see him in the audience, they come running to me, Mr. Clark's here. And so we just so appreciate Mr. Clark and his support for the dance team. All right, this team is 11-time state champions. 2 of my dancers is a senior and a junior who are 4-time state champions while on this team. Drill team is considered an activity. And that's so we can practice all year long. But we're really a sport. These dancers put several hours in every week to build stamina, strength, skills, and technique. 75% of our team are non-dancers when they enter our program. We train them, we put time into them. As coaches, I have 4 other coaches that help me, and our returners help to build these dancers up. It is with great dedication that these ladies continue to improve, to increase their scores, and to win. The BLHS drill team has built a program that teaches students to be accountable and have ownership. Accountability for themselves and their teammates, accountability to learn and grow as humans and dancers, ownership to know what they need to do to improve their skills, to own their part that they play in practice and on the competition floor. These dancers persevere through muscle pain, injuries, and disappointment. Judges' scores. I am beyond proud to serve these dancers. They deserve all the praise. It takes a village, and they're my village, my coaching staff. Not only do these ladies put in all the hours, but they also do community service. We have committed to 1 month every Saturday where we work with the Blessing Movement, and we help senior citizens, do yard work for them for a few hours every month. They do the Come Walk With Me, and we always do Beautify Bonnie Lake because that is our community. So we need to help out our community.
Okay. Our next state champion is from the Sumner High School wrestling program. He's unable to make it tonight, but you've probably seen him here as he won his 3rd straight state championship, this time at the 157-pound weight class. Cody Miller finished his high school season with a record of 143-0. He never lost a match in his entire high school career. There wasn't a state championship his freshman year, as it was the year of COVID. So unfortunately, he was a 3-timer and not a 4-timer. But we do want to recognize Cody and his head coach, Matt Harshman, who's unable to be here tonight as he's at a different high school graduation. Our next state champion, recognized this evening, might also look familiar. The Sumner High School boys golf team won their 2nd straight state championship with a 2-day total of 588. That was 14 shots better than the 2nd place team. Senior Tyson Arthur tied for 1st place with the 2-day total of 141. The Sumner High School golf program had never won a state title prior to last year, so winning state titles in consecutive years in a very competitive 4A tournament is an amazing accomplishment. Team members were Tyson Arthur, Ryan Takashita, Brock Malding, Trey Thornton, Brady Olson, and Talon Maliki. The team is coached by head coach Dustin Hagee and his assistant Jay Johnson. If you guys could come up and say a few words, please.
Thank you, Paulson. Thank you, Board of Directors and Dr. Dent.
Yeah, obviously it's been about 365 days since we were here last, which is super exciting. As what's been said throughout this entire meeting, it's very impressive to win a state title. I think it's even more impressive to do it twice. So testament to our kids. Unfortunately, they're not here tonight, so we'll be accepting this on their behalf. Couple notes, I could talk about their golf accolades all day. It's been a very impressive career for most of them. Similar to Cody, I think our seniors that are graduating due to the COVID season finished their career as undefeated league champs, district champs, 2-time state champs, and I think a third place last year or 2 years ago. So our first year was third place in state. So, but I think what's more impressive than any of that is the compliments that I get from their opponents' parents, other coaches, just spectators in general come up to us all the time, and we hear it from everywhere. Just what great kids they are, how they carry themselves, their demeanor, their integrity as kids. And that as a coach and a parent, I think is the most impressive piece of everything, is hearing that about the way that they're representing our school and everything. So that's hats off to everybody here. So, and that'll do it for me. Big thanks to this guy too. He doesn't like the attention, but thank you guys.
Okay, the last group that we need to recognize tonight, the Sumner High School cheer team was 4A academic state champs as well, with a team GPA of 3.86, and they were coached by Molly Goff and David Vinson. Unfortunately, they are not able to be here tonight. But I just again want to offer congratulations to our state champions and their coaches. Thank you for all the hard work that you put in to make this happen. You make us all very proud. Thank you, Board of Directors, Superintendent Dent, for allowing us to recognize these remarkable teams, student athletes, and their coaches. Thank you.
That was pretty amazing. That's a lot of students that have accomplished a lot, and no doubt they'll continue to do great things going forward. So at this time in the agenda, we'll move on to our superintendent comments.
I think I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Well, that was easy. You did definitely bring a lot of people up, so that's good. So board member comments. Who would like to start? Bill, you want to start, or Paul?
All right, Bill, I'll start. But get used to it. You're doing it next week or next month. It has been a busy month. Lots of award ceremonies and things to get to. I have unfortunately made it to about a fraction of what I have in years past, because I have a senior that's graduating, and I've been getting to other things, as well as trying to work on my house so that I can have a celebration party after graduation. So now I realize what all the other parents of seniors feel like. I mean, I've seen this family here at every event I've been to, they've been to, and they've probably been to 6 times more than I've seen them at. So congratulations to your family. Last time I was here, I did not, well, I was able to, I kind of was hawking the mystery dinner at Bonnie Lake. I got some tickets, but we had a family emergency. So we gave it to some friends who reported back that it was fantastic. So again, we have a great culinary program at Bonnie Lake, as well as theater. We have one of the things I've always admired about this district is that we do support the arts, and we make it a priority, not just sports, but also arts. And we're looking to try to meet kids' needs, whatever their interest is. And I find that to be refreshing. In fact, I've gotten comments on Facebook. I wish people would respond. I wish I lived in a district that did that. So anyway, with that, I've gone to a few things, but not as many as I had hoped to. So Bill, you're up.
Thank you, Paul. I too have been able to attend lots of activities and done some impromptu speaking. Last minute asked to step in, and just so great to thank. We had the retirees to thank. The one activity was seniors. Another one, gosh, what was, oh, graduation over at Eli Hill. And with that, and you know, it's just so easy to thank the staff and the students in that. But one of the groups that I've failed to mention the other night at Eli was the parents, grandparents, community members that really work with these guys. I mean, 12 years or 13 years to get them to this point. And for some, it's an easy journey. And for others, it's a little bit tougher. But, you know, they get them to this point, and to have all the programs we have in this district that are so magnificent and get kids to that finish line is so amazing. You know, I've in my family some that do everything at school, every bit they can, and it's amazing that they put in more hours, I think, than the administrators. And we have one that did the running start route and has just excelled amazingly well. And the kids that get into CTE programs, there's just so many things that get the kids here. And I'm just so thankful to be part of a district that looks for everything for every child to get them here. So thanks to everyone.
All right, I got it on the first try. I'm just gonna be very brief, but and say it's all a little bit overwhelming. I'm coming in at just the most amazing time. Dr. Dent was kind enough to send me an agenda of the many events that were happening in the school district kind of to celebrate our graduating seniors. And I have tried to stop in on a few things, but and I will say also attended the Eli Hill graduation. And the one thing I really took away was the personal connection that each of those teachers had with those students, and how important that connection had to have been for those students to get all the way through, because they were students that had not the simplest journeys, and it was very clear, and it was really powerful. And then the people that were there to support them was pretty amazing. So that was very special. Then on today, you know, the troop of people coming through with state championships and whatnot was also, and academic championships was pretty impressive as well. So I have learned of new programs that I never knew existed. And I think that speaks to what Bill was talking about, how we really put together something for everybody. So I'm super proud to be here, and really glad that I came at this time when there's so much to celebrate.
Yeah, definitely a good time to come on board. Lots of exciting things happening, of course, fill your schedule. Yeah, so there's been a lot going on. I've attended a handful of events as well. I attended both scholarship nights for Sumner High School and for Bonnie Lake High School, and just got to see the students and the achievements and the awards and scholarships that they received, in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that these students have earned from our community, from community support, you know, from all sorts of Rotary to the Sumner-Bonney Lake Education Foundation, who does a lot of work year round. As soon as they have scholarship night, I know they just start working on the next year right away. So appreciate them. Those were both great events. I really appreciated, if Tony was still here, I'd tell him, but this year they changed up their format and they split their scholarship and did their chords and academic honoree at an assembly. And I thought that was a really strong change, because it instead of sitting in front of the parents of the seniors who already know how great these students are, it was neat that they did it at an assembly so that the underclass could see what it is that they should be striving towards. So I thought that was a really positive change. It also made the scholarship night shorter. So that was everybody, I'm sure, appreciated that. It went from a 4-hour event to much shorter. So I also attended the Heart of the Panther, which is a night where they honor the sports and clubs and students who have participated in those and stood out to uphold the values that Bonnie Lake High School holds very high. So it was really cool to see them honored as well. I too attended Eli Hill graduation, which is a fantastic event to see the students that would otherwise have dropped out. That program keeps those students in our district and keeps them from dropping out from it, and just puts them on a path to do great things in our community. It's great to hear all the things that they've overcome and done. I was happy this year that we had no wind, which was great. And we had good sunny weather, and I heard that there's going to be better stuff next year at the graduation. I want to give the last thing I want to say is I want to give a huge shout out to our bus drivers who went to the bus driver rodeo and represented really, really well. In fact, so well. I believe Kelly is attending the state championship. Yeah. Attending the state championship for bus driver rodeo, which will be at the end of June. If anybody wants to check that out. It's a testament to the staff that we have, you know, from our bus drivers to our paraeducators to everybody that keeps this thing moving towards graduation, which we're really excited about this time of year. So that's all I had. At this time, I am going to give us a 5-minute break before we head into the rest of the agenda. So why don't we start back up at, we'll call it 6:57 to be precise. Okay. Order, thank you. All right, this is time for audience comments. I will turn this over.
The board recognizes the value of public comment on education issues and the importance of involving members of the public in its meetings. Comments from the public are taken under board advisement and may or may not receive action at a future meeting. Topics including charges or complaints against employees or employment or dismissal of personnel, acquisition of real estate, lawyer-client relationships, campaigning, and parameters for negotiations should not be discussed in audience comments. Other information, questions, or problems can usually be addressed by district staff. The audience comment period will end when all registered speakers have been heard. We ask that everyone adhere and understand the following guidelines. In order to maintain respect for all points of view, the school board requests no clapping, booing, or any other form of support or non-support be used. The board will not respond to comments, but will take them under advisement. Speakers should be courteous and professional. Please refrain from using profanity, vulgar language, threatening, or defamatory comments. As a reminder, individuals are not permitted to name a specific staff member, board member, or student during public comments. Failure to do so may result in the board president or designee interrupting or ending the comment. Please remember that your words have impact, and you, not the school district, are responsible for your words. We caution all speakers that it is possible that your statements could violate the rights of others under various laws, including laws protecting privacy and laws prohibiting defamation. If you're unsure of the legal effect of your remarks, you should seek independent legal advice. In any case, we ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. The audience comment process is as follows. Only speakers who register by noon, June 11th will be heard. If you're providing in-person public comment, when your name is called, please come up to the podium and state your name. If you're providing virtual public comment, when your name is called, you will be promoted to panelist. Please take yourself off mute before you begin speaking. Please address comments to the board as a whole. Individuals have 3 minutes to speak and may not cede or give their time to another speaker. The assistant superintendent will signal speakers when 1 minute remains. Our first public comment is from Mr. Veteran. I do not see him. We do have a virtual comment, Philip McCracken. Is there a Philip McCracken on the panelist attendees list? Okay, so our next audience comment is Terry McCoy.
Good evening, Superintendent Dent and the Board of Directors. My name is Terry McCoy. June 14th is Flag Day in the United States. The folding of the U.S. flag during ceremonial occasions, such as military funerals, is a deeply symbolic act. And my audience comment tonight is to share the significance and meaning behind the act of flag folding. The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which the United States was originally founded. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks and who gave a portion of his or her life for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature. As American citizens trusting in God, it is Him we turn to in times of peace, as well as in times of war, for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. In the words of Stephen Decatur, quote, "Our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong," unquote. The sixth fold is for where our heart lies. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor our mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood. It has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that has molded the character of the men and women who have made this country great. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, who has also given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since he or she was first born. The 11th fold represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies God the Father, the Son, and Holy Ghost. The 13th and last fold, when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." Thank you.
Our next audience comment is Jennifer Hoffman. Jennifer? Our next audience comment is Teresa McClymans.
I get my mic just a little closer. That was beautiful. There we go. All right. My name is Teresa McClymans, and I live in Bonnie Lake. More and more school districts in the state of Washington have implemented cell phone bans. The Peninsula, thank you. Pasco, Kennewick, and Monroe are a few of them. And there are more districts exploring how to go about creating and implementing those policies. Thank you. I encourage you to talk to these districts directly and ask what improvements they have seen so far. The principal of a middle school in the peninsula, I don't know why I can't say that right now, sorry, said that since the cell phone ban, the cyberbullying in her school has dropped to almost zero. I encourage you to be the heroes and heroines for these children and the parents and for the school district to help take the stress away that they cause, helping to take the negative effects of being a slave to their smartphones out of their lives and out of their school experience would be a big win. You would see the OSPI scores rise and the depression and suicide rates drop in these children and young adults. I just finished listening to a book on Audible titled, oh, I lost my place, entitled The Anxious Generation. And if you listen to it, you will see that there is a PDF of graphs that supports the context in the book. It's simply entitled The Anxious Generation. The book tells about how schools in Colorado had the highest suicide rates and the lowest score in their state, and how a new superintendent took the bull by the horn and changed it by implementing a policy that was strongly enforced and that allowed kids to have their cell phones in their backpack, but strictly could not be removed at any time. So lots of wonderful things to go about. What children used to experience is a play-based childhood. And now, unfortunately, because of the smartphone, they experience a phone-based childhood. So please listen to that book on your free time as you commute, The Anxious Generation, and find out and be heroes for our district as the others are. Thank you.
Thank you. That is our last audience comment.
Great, thank you very much. All right, next matter, our Chief Financial Officer and District Operations Officer, Bing Parkinson, has shared a budget status report that you'll have in your packet for information only. And our next item is an action item. We have resolution number 20/2324 out of endorsement assignment waiver for action. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 20/2324?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I know you guys have been waiting with bated breath. I know you realize I don't like out of endorsement. I know that has to be done, and I applaud you guys for continuing to try to keep this list as short as possible. I do prefer one page. It spilled over a little bit, but I know you're working hard on it. Thank you, Mr. Barrow.
Anything else? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, our next action item is for policy. In accordance with policy 1310, adoption and amendment of policies and bylaws, the following policies have been included for second reading and adoption. The district administration recommends the board adopt the following district policies in accordance with policy 1310, adoption amendment of policy and bylaws 6700 nutrition, 6702 wellness, 2124 physical education and health class, 6701 recess and physical activity. Do I have a motion to adopt these board policies?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, continue with policies, information only in accordance with policy 1310, adoption amendment of policies and bylaws. The following policies have been included for first reading. 5050 contracts and 5271P reporting improper governmental action. All right, that brings us to the next part of the agenda of presentations. At this time, we have two presentations. First, we'll hear from Transportation Department update from our Director of Transportation, Pam Knapp. Following Pam, we'll have a budget update from our Chief Financial and District Operations Officer, Bing Parkinson. Thank you, Pam.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Dent. It's an honor to be here tonight, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to talk about transportation. Okay, our relationship to this strategic plan is know, value, and support, nurture, engage, and empower students. Transportation provides a safe, welcoming, supportive environment for all students. Bus drivers know, value, and support their students every single day. Some of our transportation department highlights for the years are state patrol inspections, our bus buck program, our kindergarten program, and our hardworking, dedicated staff. Our state patrol inspections, we have 2 inspections each year. Our midwinter inspection is random. State patrol shows up whenever they want, basically. They inspect 25% of our fleet, and they tell us which buses they're going to inspect. Okay, our summer inspections, the state patrol comes and they inspect 100% of our fleet. It is a scheduled inspections. We know when they're going to come. This year, when I was out in the shop during our summer inspection, the quote is what the head state patrol guy said. I don't remember his name, but he complimented our district and the transportation department in the shop for having the most organized and clean shop around. Yeah. Yes, I have awesome staff. Okay, 30 years of data. We went back 30 years to get this information. So out of the last 30 years, our buses being inspected twice a year, 66 of our inspections have had a safety rating of 100%. 81 of our inspections have had a safety rating of 98% or higher. Only 18% of our inspections have been less than 98%, but we've never, ever had a rating lower than 94%. Okay, our bus program, it promotes positive student management, rewards students for being good, for having good behavior on the bus. And it's been very successful. Yes. Yeah. Oh, let me go back. I wanted to talk about a couple of things that, some of the things that put a bus out of service that can ruin our 100% rating. It can be anything from brakes not being adjusted correctly. It could be a tire that's flatter than 50%. It could be a light not working that burns out. It could be a leaf spring that's cracked, and that's what our winter inspection, we had one out of service. And the reason it was one out of service is because one of the spring leaves had a little crack in it on the inside. And so it wasn't able to see. It's not something a driver would have caught during their pre-trip inspection. And you had to be like under the bus in order to see it. And loose items around the driver's area is another thing that will put a school bus out of compliance and ruin our record. Okay, our bus buck program, how it works, drivers reward students for good behavior. And sometimes we kind of bribe the students a little bit. Like we have a student that likes to stand up at every single bus stop. The driver might say, oh, if you can remain on your pockets for the rest of the ride, you can get a bus buck when you get to school. These are very successful tools and they're working really well. Once a student receives a bus buck, then they hand them over to somebody at the school. All our elementary schools do different things for the kids that get bus bucks. Our ELC, or Early Learning Center, they have some little toys that the kids get to exchange a bus buck for a toy. Maple Lawn, they hand out $5 cookie gift cards from the cookie place up on Bonnie Lake. Crumble cookie. Yeah. Liberty Ridge, though, has the best program around. At Liberty Ridge, when a student turns in a bus buck, they receive 5 SOAR tickets. And SOAR tickets is something that the school does, gives the kids to help, behavior at the schools. Those kids then can collect their SOAR tickets. They get to hang on to them, and then they turn them in as money to buy things at the school store. So it's an awesome program. Okay, and bus expectations, in the old days, and things have changed a lot over the old days. It used to be don't hit, don't stand, don't smoke, don't hit, all these things, I know when I first started driving, the big thing was smoking a cigarette on a bus, and it's like, but now over the years, things have changed. We're trying to get better and be more positive with our student management. And this is what we came up with. Our bus expectations: be responsible, use respect, safety first. And we have this on all our buses. And this is now how our drivers are working on talking to the students when they're having issues with students on the bus. Okay, so on the downside or the flip side of that with bus bucks, we our way of documenting student management that isn't quite as good as we would like to see is by bus slips. That's how we do that. And this comparison shows what elementary bus slips results were for last year, from September 2022 till April 23. The total bus slips written for our elementary kiddos was 140. This year, between September 23 and April, only 76 bus slips were written. Is that we took that down almost in half. And why were there less bus? Oh, sorry, you guys. Why there was less bus slips is because our drivers are being more proactive. We're doing a better job of communicating with parents when there's first issues on the buses and letting them know, hey, this is what's going on. What can we do together to improve the behavior? And then with the bus bucks, between us being a little bit more proactive and communicating better with the parents and the bus bucks, we've been able to decrease the amount of bus slips written. We transport an average of 2,950 elementary kids each day. So when you look at this, out of all those elementary kids, 97% of those students are being good for the majority of the time. We are not having to write bus slips for 97% of our elementary kiddos. So I think that's pretty good. Oops. Okay, the other thing we're proud of is our kindergarten program. And pre-COVID, we had a program, it was similar but a little bit different than this. So we just got this up and running again this year. Our kindergarten program, that name came from one of the tech guys that happened to be up at transportation one day when we were talking about what to call the program, and it was his idea. The KH is the one that came up with this idea. So what this program entails is we get a hold of all the kindergarten teachers all over the district. We schedule a time where some of our driver trainer, go in and visit the classrooms. We show them a video that the people in my department put together. My transportation specialist, with the help of communications, came up with this video with our buses, our people, and our mascots from both of our high schools are in the video. And then we show them the video. We talk about bus safety and the do's and don'ts on the bus. We hand out coloring books and crayons and bus bucks, of course. And then we take the kids on a little ride. Usually it's just around the parking lot, one entrance, out the other. And then we come back and we practice safely crossing the street. And it's a great program. The kids, the teachers, they're loving it. And the drivers are loving it because then the kids are learning what they need to do on the bus. Okay, now a little bit about my amazing staff. Our current staff members up in transportation, we have 68 members. We have 46 permanent bus drivers. We have 12 substitute bus drivers. 4 of those substitute drivers do trips only. They don't drive routes. My office staff consists of a transportation specialist, a generalist, driver trainer, and then I have a router dispatcher. In the shop, we have our shop supervisor, 3 diesel mechanics, and 1 utility mechanic. So for our longevity in our department, we have 8 staff members with 30+ years, 3 with 20. 12 staff members that have between 10 and 20 years of service, 8 staff members, 5 to 10, 22 staff members with 1 to 5 years of service. And this year we brought on 9 permanent drivers and 6 subs. Yeah. And with a nationwide driver shortage that's been around for the last, 3 or 4 years, this is pretty impressive that we were able to bring on 9 more permanent drivers and 6 subs. This is the first year since before COVID that we didn't have any open routes. All our routes have permanent drivers on them. Okay, now this little thing is a little scary to me. If you look at the number of drivers on the pie chart with 1 to 5 years, and then our less than 1 years, that those two together versus our groups of the older drivers with all the knowledge and experience, it was a kind of an aha moment for me, because and this year as well, I've learned I have to change how I communicate with a lot of my staff, because I can't just assume they know what they're doing now, because we have so many more new people in the department, which is really a good thing. It really is. Who are the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District bus drivers? They are dedicated, hardworking, and passionate people. On the bus, there are shoe tires, nose wipers, mentors, and role models. They can multitask better than people in other professions, and they have eyes in the back of their head. And this is some of my staff. The picture on the left are some drivers that were driving for the Daffodil Parade. In the center up top, that was at the Lahar Drill. And the bottom one is when we received an award from Jeannie Larberg, the Whole Child Hero Award. On the right side is my senior driver. She has over 37 plus years in the district. She's been the #1 driver in seniority for a while now. Okay, here's some more pictures of some of my drivers. There's Tanya on the left there, checking a roof hatch, make sure it's opening and the buzzer sounding. And just, yeah, and then Katie on the top, she's checking her tires, thumping them for air pressure, making sure there's nothing lodged in between them. Lon underneath Katie is one of our new drivers this year. And then a couple of my guy drivers there is Aaron and Dennis. Here are my mechanics, John and the mechanics, and their names are underneath their pictures there. It is, yes. He was a Bonney Lake High School graduate. This is my office staff. Charlotte, my driver trainer. Amy's the router dispatcher. Caitlin's the transportation specialist. And Kayla's a transportation generalist. She's also a graduate from Sumner High School. Okay, rodeo time. This is Kelly. She placed 3rd place overall in the regional rodeo this year, and is off to state in the Tri-Cities. Kelly is fairly new to us. She came on last year, competed in the rodeo for the first time with less than 30 days of being a bus driver. Yeah. And you know, she liked it, had fun. So she says, I'm going to do it again. She did it again this year and took 3rd place overall. We haven't had anybody go to state in a lot of years. In the time that I've been with the district, there's only been three of us that have made it to state before Kelly. So Kelly's the 4th one. Okay, so some of the things about the school bus rodeo. The school bus rodeo consists of drivers taking a written test, performing a CDL pre-trip, crossing a railroad track, parallel parking, right-hand turn, back in, offset alley, diminishing clearance. Those are a few of the events. That's not all of them. Categories of competition is the individual category, rookie category. They compete as a team, and then we have our team spirit category. So we did pretty good at the rodeo this year. We took 3rd place individually. Our as a team, they took 3rd place, and then we won the Team Spirit Award. What do drivers get out competing in the bus rodeo? They take part in the school bus rodeo is a fantastic way for drivers to understand the how when it comes to accurately maneuvering their school bus. A lot of times out there on the roadway, We are in situations that are pretty tight around construction vehicles, or even just like up into Holly and when they have cars parked on both sides of the street and we need to get through. It can be kind of a challenging, and so the rodeo will help you know what you can and can't do behind the wheel of the bus. The bus rodeo also allows bus drivers to hone in on their driving skills. It makes them a better driver all around. It also gives the drivers the opportunity to build camaraderie with school bus drivers from other districts. This is rodeo practice up at transportation in our lot. The picture on the right is Kelly doing parallel parking. Parallel parking, you have to get next to that fire hose there on the ground. You need to be within 3 inches of that fire hose from the bulge of the tires, front tire and back tire. Yeah, yeah. And then you can't hit any of the cones going in or out. And each time you need to back up or pull forward after your first one, you get demerits for that. The picture on the right is the right-hand turn. You have to properly do a right-hand turn. Where that back tire is a board on the ground, and there's different colors. In order to do it perfectly, you have to have the tire in the yellow that you're seeing on the board right there. Okay, and these are some pictures from this year's rodeo. As you can you see Princess Leia made an appearance there, and Darth Vader. And then this is a picture of the bus that we decorated for the competition. This is a brand new bus. It was bus number 4, and may the 4th be with you. So, you know, kind of it all fit. It all went together really well. And some of the theme on the bus was actually our deputy superintendent's idea, because he's quite the Star Wars fan. And those little critters there, those belong to the deputy superintendent. In the middle is Lynn. She's our rodeo coach, and she coached the team. She is the last one that participated at the state rodeo. The picture on the right is Charlotte, my driver trained in the yellow vest, and then one of our other drivers. And this is our photo op, little bus thing. We take it to Rhubarb Days and other things, events we go to just kind of help recruit drivers and get conversations started about transportation. Our ongoing focus is positive student management with bus bucks and expanding hopefully to the middle school level this upcoming year. Our goal is always to get 100% safety inspection with the State Patrol. And we're going to continue to do recruitment of people that want to be bus drivers to replace those drivers that are retiring, and eventually hiring more drivers to eliminate the double runs that we are now currently doing. And this picture was from the homecoming parade. We participated in the Sumner High School's homecoming parade this year, trying to recruit people to come join our team and become a bus driver.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any questions?
Pam, I did have questions, but you answered them as you went through. I was particularly interested in the bus bucks. And is that mostly funded by the, it sounds like each school's a little different. So some schools, it's all admin. Other schools might get a little bit of PTO help or PTA help.
That's a really good question. I know Jeannie Larberg had gotten funds from somewhere to help support this program.
That was originally, but most of it is PTO, PTA funds, or some sort of, principal helping out with building funds. But yeah, most every school has something to be able to give to that.
So for those of us listening online, the answer was PTA and PTO funds, and then also principal general funds, the building.
So thank you, PTA and PTOs. That's a good program, Pam. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just wanted to say great job on your presentation. That is not easy to do. I just wanted to highlight the pie chart you put up and the longevity and the percentages of longevity that we have with the bus drivers is phenomenal. So you must be doing a great job to retain that many bus drivers. And you noted that the high percentage there between 1 and 5 years. I look at that as a silver lining. I see that as your recruitment that we see on the screen right now is working. We've identified the need for that. And the fact that you're doing it on your own time is very appreciated. And then the last thing I want to notice is how many pictures you are in all of these presentations. I'm like, are you ever home on the weekends? It's amazing. So, yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Pam.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Yeah, the transportation staff, they're wonderful people. They really are. I'm very lucky to be leading them.
Yeah, they're really great. Awesome. Thank you. All right, our next presentation will be Bang Parkinson. Thank you, Bang.
Board of Director and Superintendent, tonight I am going to update you the budget, and we'll talk a little bit more about what is in the upcoming budget, the 24-25 school year's budget. So where are we right now? So in May 15, that was, remember you see my calendar? So the May 15 is the second HR data push over to business office. Then we reconcile all those staffing, if any change. And then also is the last day that we can make any change or additional staffing. Because that way we can continue working on our budget instead of constantly changing. We can do it. So, and then May 24 is the last push. That's the day that HR's data coming over to us, and that's it. Then we will do the final revision, final review, final reconciliation, and then put it over to our side to do the budgeting. Now today's I'm giving you the budget update. Then next week, the following week, we have to advertise for public hearing. So this year we changed a little bit of the public hearing. Instead of we do it in August, public hearing and adoption. But this year we moved the public hearing to July. Then we adopt in August. And also July 10 is our deadline sent to the OSBI, ESD and OSBI as final. So we'll present that day as well to include everything in the budget, and then we will adopt in August. So kind of recap a little bit of what we put it in the budget in terms of enrollment. So our enrollment for next year in terms of K-12 is 9,868, which is include all of those like ALE, CTE, middle school and high school, ELL, and special ed. However, the open door is not included in this K-12 because they are not enrolled into the K-12 system. They are separate. And then we also have some running start kids that include there, but then it also count when they go to the college, whether they are part-time or they are full-time. That's what we call running start. So good news this coming year. Current year, we have 2 schools that are having free breakfast and lunch for our kids in 2 elementary school, which is Daffodil Valley and Liberty Ridge. But next year, we'll qualify for 4 more, means that 6 out of 10 schools that we have free lunch for our kids. And that's a good news. Yeah, it is great because you cannot be hungry and learning. So I'm hoping that continues on this good work with the legislatures that give all the kids free lunch, and that will be great. So you probably tired for me to talking about ESSER, COVID. It's been 3 years I've been telling you about these grants. So I promise I'm not going to say it again because we are all done by the end of this year. We claim everything we can. Whatever we were awarded, we claim them all. We don't want to leave any money on the table. And we comply with everything that they require us to use the fund. Again, this is one-time only money. You cannot pay for any salary. Otherwise, we'll have to use the general fund for that. So that's why these have to be one-time items that we use. So we claim them all by the end of this year. Okay, what is in this next year's budget? Additional. As mostly we focus on FTE, right? Because 85% of our budget is staffing. So we add multilingual coordinator this year for middle school, for 3 middle school. And then we have continues on convert this one-time position to ongoing director of equity. And then we also hire and convert the dean to the assistant principal. Means that Mountview Middle School have 2 assistant principal because they have more than 900 kids in the school. Really big middle school. Then we have a director of special ed one-time position. And now since our colleagues, Tracy is no longer with us, the position not being filled, but we hire a special ed TOSA as a permanent position to help the department out. Because we have more and more special ed enrollments increase quite a bit this year and next year. And we also hire additional community-based teachers because there's a new law too that it requires we provide continuous education until their 22nd birthday. So we have more kids in the community base. So we have hire more teachers there. We also hire some TOSAs for the curriculum implementations next year. So that will help out during the time doing that implementation. And then we also add small portions of the 8th grader math for Mountview, which is the need for that. And then also add 4th grade teachers in Daffodil because their class size is quite high. So we need to lower that, especially if they are high free and reduced lunch schools. And in classify, we convert the 3rd campus safety in Chu High School into ongoing. At the time, we hire one time only to help out during the COVID, but now it looks like there's a need there. So it become ongoing. So we have 3 campus safety officers in each high school. And of course, when we add a community-based teacher, we have to have paras go with it. Actually, 2 paras, but we have one was one-on-one, now it convert into one of the paras. So we have to hire another additional one. And then we have life science paras as well. And also add para in Kahale because we have so many kiddos going there. Yeah, they need some help the first year they come in. So we opened a lot of new classroom. Like I said, the enrollment in special eds increased really unbelievable. so many of those. So we opened up 2 new DLC classrooms at the Bonnie Lake Elementary and the ELC. So every classroom we open, we required 1 teachers, 2 paras, and half of the BFSS. And then, of course, some startup costs of those. So that's the model that Karen's always require us to do when she opened up a school, a classroom. So then there's another new classroom for self-contained preschools at the ELC, and move that another 1 blend preschools from Donald Eisman's to Tahale, and then add another blend preschools at Tahale. So when we add those new classroom, we require a pair of those teachers, paras, and BFSS. And additionally, this is kind of a big items that I kind of listed out so you are aware of. In the MSOC side, we add quite a bit of money for ELL training, teacher training, and any other things. Stipend that for teachers to do the work, and materials, price, and things. And then you probably hear a lot that insurance costs increase. I don't know how lucky we are that it only increased 14.1. If you ask other school districts, it's more than that, 20, even some of them 37%. That's crazy. I don't know why they increased that much. But yes, next year, well, this year we got increased 20-something% already. Now next year's additional 14.1%. So every year's increase. Now, if the OSBI fund us another $21, which is include insurance, utility, $21 is just only a small portion of our 14.1%. So whatever they say that they add to this funding, that's never been enough to cover the whole full cost. And then, of course, the one-time curriculum adoption for next year is going to be $1 million. And as you know, that I always set aside some money for those curriculum implementation in our fund balance. So we're going to use up that money. And every year we put all those long-range project budget, because we need to look at like down the road, 5 years, what we need. Every year we want to know that what we need to fix our facility or any other project that need to be done. So we put it in long range so we know, just like we have to buy some vehicles like a van or truck for maintenance, or even this year we are buying, because we have more kids in the community base, and Tracy, our colleague, just passed away, went to my office and we talk about we do not have enough van for the kids, and some kids have to stay behind in the classroom without doing anything. It really broke my heart to hear that. They don't deserve that. So we have to find some money to buy a van for them. And I just called the Tracy's van to remember her, because she fights so hard for us, for the kids, and to get what they need for the kids. And of course, all those department budgets, inflations, your contract this year is 10,000, next year's 15,000. So those are costs absolutely need to include. We cannot avoid that. And then salary increase, of course, that's the big chunks. The SAP increases also cost $1 million there. Just $78 each month for 12 months, and you time 1,300 employee that we are hiring right now, or we exist.
Can you remind us what SEB is, please?
What's that?
Can you remind us what SEB is, please?
SAP is School District Employee Benefit Board. Means that in the past, just give a little bit background, so that our new board member understand what we're talking about, all the increment. So several years ago, the state took over the benefit operation for the whole state, pretty much like a public employee in the city and county. They always have the state program. We did not as a district. We always have our own. Like we contract out with any healthcare company to, to help us to buy those plans for our employee. But because of those, the price is so hard for every school district. It's like if you have a family of 4, you pay a lot of money, and it's not equitable. So the state took over and make sure that if you have a family of 4, you probably pay 3 times over the single person that paid that premium. So those plans, they get kind of control. So now, be careful what you hope for. This is a good thing for a lot of people, but then also another downside is if you work 630 hours, you get full benefit. Now, in the past, it may not be like that, right? And also, if, let's say, my husband have insurance through their company, I don't need that. But the district still have to pay for your portion. Still have to pay $1,176 per month for your share, regardless. So that is the downside about this program. But it is what it is. That's why a lot of school districts kind of struggle a little bit on that too. So what's our unknown and what's our challenge? So the unknown part is that we have, I think I mentioned it last time, that we have 3 groups bargaining. So you don't know what it's going to look like. It's really hard for budgeting because you don't know how much you budget for next year. So always best guess. And then another unknown is you don't know, like enrollment. I just said that, hey, we probably would have 9,868 kids coming in, or FTE coming in. But is it truly we do have that? So that is another unknown that kind of nerves me all the time until it comes. It's like, that those 4 count days, my nerves days. I look at that, okay, do I have that? Do we have that? And things like that. So challenging, you heard that what Pam just mentioned that, right? Bus driver. We want to recruit bus driver so to avoid double runs and to avoid a lot of overtime payment and this and that. And we have a hard time to find drivers. We have a hard time. I mean, you find 5 people and then 6 people retire. So it's kind of like a revolving filling those positions. And same as a para educator. We have a lot of para positions that are opening. Tons of them. And then, of course, we have a hard time to fill those skilled maintenance workers. Electricians, HVAC people, they're very skillful, and districts have a hard time to find those. So what's our next step? Our next step is we're going to advertise for a public hearing for the July 10 public hearing. But we have, by law, we have to advertise 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks, 7 days before the public hearing. So that will be in the newspaper, the local newspaper, for those 2 consecutive week advertisement. And then we have a public hearing here in July 10, in a board meeting. And then another budget adoptions in August. So then we'll be finished the budget cycle. Any other questions?
Thank you, Bang. That was great. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have a question, but somebody else can go first if they'd like.
JB, you want to ask any questions, or? Yeah, you're still trying to get your feet up. Bill, how are you doing over there?
I don't have a question, but I want to thank Bing. I know from working with her and watching her work, she is very conservative with her estimates. She is very nervous and takes every penny that the district has very much to her heart and makes that happen. But I also know because of the hard work that you and your department have done and gotten us in a much better place than when you first came to us. We have the staffing to do the magic that happens. And I don't think we could have continued on the staffing and just the money we had before. So I really thank you so much. And I know from experience, Bang knows how to say no so well.
Thank you.
Paul?
Sure. Bang, I want to apologize. I probably should have asked this question earlier.
Okay.
I've been very busy and I didn't really
I'll try my best to answer.
give the presentation as much diligence as I should have. But I really paid attention while you went over it. What really stuck out was the insurance increase of 14.1%. And then you added that they raised it 20% last year.
Current year, yeah.
Now, every year I've been to WASDA, there's always a competitor, insurance competitor there trying to drum up business. And I talk to them because they're giving away free stuff. And so I'm just wondering, I mean, I know I think there's only one other competitor in Washington State. Maybe there's more. Has anybody reached out to other competitors to say, hey, you know what? Are your rates going up 34% in 2 years? I mean, my auto insurance, everybody's insurance rates have gone up, house insurance rates.
Yeah.
But I know on a personal level, if it gets too much, I start shopping.
Yeah.
So
The first year I came, Dr. Dan and I talk about this and do a little bit research. Basically, we have only 2 companies in the state. I mean, I don't know if you know that. One is the one that we have, and another one is we call SIUW or something. So I've been looking and been providing information because it's not an easy. We call high exit barrier. You cannot easy to go because you have to inform them 2 years ahead before you leave them. And when you ask question that, hey, I want to ask a quote for another company, they will ask you all kind of analysis you have to provide them before they even give you a quote. I've been through those with them. And to the point that you can't even give them a quote because so much work. They want you to go back to find all the information that your current insurance, how they do the underwriting analysis and give it to them. They will use that to recalculate how much they will charge you compared with your current insurance company. So it's not easy. If we decided to do that, we have to tell them 2 years ahead.
And I would imagine once you notified them, you'd be on their radar for maybe, hey, let's get some more money out of these people before they leave in 2 years. So I thank you for sharing that. It's not as easy as calling up.
No, it's not that easy. Like we have car insurance. Hey, I'm not going to go to Wells Fargo. To a state, whatever call it. I don't remember, PAMCO or something, or someone else we will go to. It's not like switch that easy. Like a cell phone. Hey, I want my phone number, go with me, and then flip it right away. It's not like that. It's like 2 years ahead to inform them.
Thanks for explaining that.
In case our insurance carriers watching, we're very happy with our insurance. We like our insurance. We want to keep our insurance.
Well, like I said, that we would, for some reason, we must done something really right.
Right.
That
So-
our increase is only 14.1% instead of others. I mean, you saw that
I
the
know.
list of other
It's-
districts increase like crazy.
Yeah. So thank you, insurance carrier.
If
We
you are
appreciate you.
watching us, we thank you
Right.
for that. Any other question?
I'm done. Thank you, Bang.
Yeah, thank you, Bang. I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to highlight the slide you had up about the increase from 2 schools to 6 on the free meals, that's huge. And
Oh,
I
that's
know,
great.
or I can imagine that
Yeah.
that was a lot of extra work out of your normal day to really
Wow.
advocate for those students to receive those free meals, which we know as I'm sitting here, feeling hungry at 8 o'clock because I haven't had dinner yet. I can imagine what it's like to sit in a classroom and feel
know,
hungry.
right?
You aren't going to
Yeah.
be able to concentrate.
Well, I will have to credit our nutrition service director.
Okay.
She worked very hard on that. Also, the legislature's changed a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people advocate for this because we all love kids, right? Otherwise, we won't be here today. So current year is if your school is 30% free and reduced lunch, your school will get that. Or K-5, but K-6 actually, even though the legislature is K-5, because other school district may be K-5. But for us, the 6th graders also get that in our school, the elementary only right now. And next year will be 40%. No, the other way, right? The other way. Current years, if you have 40%, you'll get free. Next year, only 30%. So as soon as you're 30%, your school will get free lunch. So I encourage everybody submit their free and reduced lunch form, because the more you submit, they approve it, your school, whole school get free lunch. And that's so important.
Yeah, it really
And we
is.
make it very easy because we have a barcode. You just scan it. Application, you can just fill it out there.
Nice.
So it's easy process and make it everybody can access easy.
Yeah, that's great. And I also noticed on a lot of your slides where our CTE programs that we continue to add in this district are turning around and filling positions that we're struggling in the past to fill. And I just think it's great to see alumni on your slides that went through our CTE programs,
Yeah.
our teaching academy, that would just graduated the other day. And that, to name one out of many, is really great to see because I'm sure it helps the budgeting, it helps all that.
Oh,
as
yeah,
we-
yeah. Our city is doing really great.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids sign up too. So the more kids sign up, the more funding you get.
Yeah,
For
that's great.
CTE, yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for all the hard work to you and your staff that goes into creating a budget that seems like it's always changing. So thank
Yeah.
you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, our next section of the agenda is instructional materials adoption. In accordance with policy 2020, course design, selection, adoption of instructional materials, our career and college readiness director, Aaron Tomlin, is presenting the following materials for first reading. Code Combat and Ozaria will be used for exploring game design. That's exciting. And Community Interpreter will be used for translation and interpretation 1. Also very cool. So those are in your packets for information only. All right. And then our next, we have a report for highly capable program, an update on the 0700 strategic plan, and an equity advisory council report, all presented as information only items in your packets. And that brings us to board discussion. Are there any items that anybody has for board discussion tonight?
I'm not sure it's a discussion point, but I really, the highly capable program, the efforts being made to basically recruit more students and the whole process of where they've moved it and the assessing and the work that's done. I know it's a ton of work, but I also know that there's a lot of kids that probably qualified in the past that didn't have an adult speaking up for them. And I really appreciate the work, Kelly, that your department and those folks are doing to ensure that we're finding all those kids that will benefit from being challenged and that. So I really thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Bill. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Your first one. It's understandable. Paul?
Thanks, Kevin. I'm with Bill. These reports that are in here, if you have access to the internet, click on them, read them. One thing this administration does very, very well is produce reports. Not just reports that say, hey, everything's great, but reports that say, hey, we're doing great. Here's the data to show we're doing great. Oh, and by the way, we're working on some areas that we know we need some improvement in. I encourage everyone to take a look at those. On that same note, we had talked last month about vaping. And Dr. Dent sent the board another great report, way faster than I had anticipated. I was kind of shocked all of a sudden. Wow. Full of information, links to policies. And I'm wondering if we can get that report also linked on so that the public could read it, so that they can see we do take it serious. You're making strides. We have policies in place. One of the data points you had in here was compared our students to the what they answered on the healthy what was it? Healthy use survey, e-cigarette usage on school property. Our students versus statewide students. Fourth grade, statewide average was 2%. It's a shame it's any percent, and ours was 4%. Same with 10th grade. It was statewide was 4%. Our data was 5%. 12th grade, statewide was 6%, and ours were 7%. Based on the complaints I always hear, I would have thought it was a lot more than 7% in high school, or 5%. Again, all of us, I think, in the room, and even the parents of those kids that are admitting to it, would like to see that reduced. But it's this kind of data that helps us really even build faith that we're sending our kids to school in a good environment. So yeah, if we could get that link to the public, it'd be great.
Yeah, I think it's to add on to that, I think it's how quickly you got the data from Dr. Dent kind of tells me that it's something that our district was very aware of and has already been working on. And I think that, you know, after last board meeting, I can't remember who it was, but they made a comment to me afterwards that, you know, the vaping and the things that are going on, sometimes we latch on to the act of the vaping, and it's really a symptom of something else going on in that student's life, that if we can address that, then we can take care of the vaping and that sort of thing. So it was an interesting parallel that they drew to not just focus just on the vaping, but also the other things in that student's life that we're working on as well. So great. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, one more
Oh,
thing.
one more.
Kevin,
Yeah, go for it.
if I could. And again, it kind of got brought up, and I had seen this news article a couple of times on like Good Morning America had it on, and they were highlighting a superintendent and a principal that had these cell phone bans. Again, I always find it as an interesting point. Like Bill has mentioned before in the past, we're not a district that rushes into stuff or goes with, you know, knee-jerk reactions. I just find it interesting, and I think if we asked tough questions and thought about it over the next year, you know, maybe if we saw data on it and waited to see maybe other school districts, what really success they're having with it, or is it, you know, cooked numbers? It would be, I think, tough to implement, especially since I think most of our students here in this district manage their cell phone pretty darn well, and the teachers help the students manage cell phones. So I don't know that it's an issue, and we might actually come to that conclusion in a year. But it's certainly, I think, something to start at least talking about. I mean, nothing to do instantly or rush towards it, but begin a discussion.
I think we went down that road. One of the things I'd like to do that the district does so well is involve the parents in that. And I say that from the standpoint of some parents are going to say it's the greatest thing in the world, and some are going to storm the gates that my child will have access 24/7 and that. And unless we're going to get the support of the parents and such, I really don't want to put the schools in the position of that's all you're doing all day. I mean, so we have a lot of experience, and we have a lot of success using parents and community groups to get that information. And how much of it's going on in the interrupting the education and that type of thing. But I will tell you, taking away somebody's phone is a highly charged activity.
And with that point, Bill, there might not be an issue. and the teachers and the parents and the students in our district might kind of say, there's not an issue. It's not something we need to really discuss or focus on. So.
Great, thank you. I would just like to add that it's graduation season. We've got graduation on Monday for both Sumner and Bonnie Lake and our Eli Hill program as well. And I just am excited to see all the graduates. It's always a fun event, and it's a long one, back to back at the Tacoma Dome, but it's pretty cool to see them walk across that stage, and I'm really excited about that. And Paul, I know you have a graduate, so it's extra exciting. And Bill, you've got some of the family as well, so that's awesome. Unless there's anything else, our next board meeting has been scheduled for Wednesday, July 10th, 2024, and will begin at 6 p.m. in the central office boardroom. Thank you for being with us tonight. And if there's no further business, we'll see you at the June 12th meeting. We're adjourned.